Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to FhenyiSpeaks, where I talk about everything and anything in hopes that you will learn something. If you're new here, welcome, and to everybody else, I'm back. So I have officially decided to make this a podcast instead of haphazardly deciding it in the middle of a recording. So I am going to be calling the sessions FhenyiSpeaks Solo Sunday Sessions. And if you're new here, I am Fhenyi. My full name is Mo Fhenyi. I know you're probably not hearing the FH that's in there, but it is a name, honey. I am a vendor girl, and my name has an FH that is very hard to pronounce and that cannot be heard on mics, okay? But anyway, this session, or rather these sessions, are actually about me being honest about myself, catching up on the week, and sharing things that I've learned on my journey to becoming my highest self. So this platform is going to low-key be a therapy session. Hopefully you will learn something and take something from it. I intend to share wisdom, not just vent on these platforms. So I hope that is what you receive. These are going to be on Sundays, and hopefully I will be able to be consistent this time around. But I have decided to introduce a small segment which is called Message of the Day. And my message of the day for today is that if you have to be intoxicated to hang out with your friends, then you are definitely in the wrong group. Because obviously, why can you not hang out with them sober? It means that your spirit is not gelling with them for a reason. And that is a huge red flag. Okay? That is a red flag. Run away. So, can I just say that I am so nervous to do this? I haven't done this in a while, and the thought that I'm going to post this, and the thought that I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to start something again is driving me crazy. But I just felt like it needed to happen, hence why I am doing it right now. It's not impulsive this time, and there's something I want to mention in this video, that it's so important to sit down and think about things. I have these tendencies of coming up with these banging ideas and then ending up doing them and not being consistent with them because of how impulsive I am. And I think we have all established, especially if you usually work out, you realize that discipline is what's most important in everything that you do. So you can't just start something because you feel like doing it in the moment, because you won't have the discipline to sustain it. So I have just been learning about this whole not being impulsive thing and being patient and thinking things through. So throughout this week, I decided to go off social media and just sit down and think about what exactly I intend on doing with every plan that I have for this year, especially the ideas that were coming up so randomly. I decided that, I'm going to take this time and just think properly about what exactly I want to achieve. And that worked out for me, because for a moment I decided, maybe this is not for me, maybe I shouldn't do a podcast. But then after that, at the end of the week, I realized, because my mind was clearer, I was not on social media, I was not talking to anyone, nothing was influencing me. Maybe this is the right thing for me to do, because it's not just coming up to me just to come up. And there's something that someone said to me a few days ago, which is that yes, sometimes ideas just pop up and we don't really have to do them, but sometimes things pop up for you to do them, for you to fulfill them. And in the later stage of life, you may realize that you regret not even doing it. And sometimes you have to realize that there won't be an alternative, there won't be other people who are going to take up that role that only you can take. But anyway, yeah, I've realized and learned that not being impulsive is so important, thinking things through, as well as being patient and allowing things to just process every time as they come. Another discipline that I've learned is that patience is a foreign discipline from the humans. I love going online and reading, to research things, especially by doctors. And I read something that was interesting, which is that human beings are not naturally patient. We are naturally impatient. And having patience is a discipline that every single human has to learn. So the people that you see who are patient had to learn to be patient. So it means that it's not impossible to learn it for starters, but it's also something that you have to acknowledge that you have to learn. You don't just wake up and have the strength in you to just be patient. You know, you don't just go through something and just have the ability to be patient. You have to actually allow yourself to sit down and find ways to calm yourself down because it's unnatural to you, which is quite interesting, I feel like, because it makes you have a little bit more grace towards yourself when it comes to being patient, because you now realize that actually I am teaching myself something new, you know, and we always have to have grace towards ourselves when we're learning something new. And an amazing thing that that is news for today is that I have just recently turned 25. Okay, it's not recent. It's just about 2 months ago, which is a while, but it's still recent for me. This year is still very fresh for me because I don't know, it feels like a big deal, and I have been learning so many things about myself. But one thing that I realized is that we will mourn experiences, and when you feel like you don't understand how you're feeling at a certain time, you're probably mourning something, you know. And I went through that stage last year, right before my birthday, where life just became so haphazard. I was spontaneous about everything that I was doing. I wasn't thinking anything through. I was extremely anxious. I got home and cried a lot because I was going through something and I didn't know what it was until I realized that I was anxious about age, but it wasn't necessarily being anxious. It was just me mourning my past self because I went through so many changes last year, and I ended up, I don't know, having to adjust to them and having to mold myself to them. But thing is, as much as that happened, it happened spiritually, it happened physically, but mentally I had not adjusted, and that took my mind on a toll actually. So I had to sort of get back to myself right after that whole experience, and then reaching my birthday and then the days after, where I realized that actually you are not being yourself, you are going through something. You need to allow yourself to go through it, but you have to avoid dealing with it through weird coping mechanisms. That's what I'll call it. But eventually I was myself, and when I say myself, I mean like the new self. I was no longer the person that I was before. I was adjusted, and it's something that I still cannot explain, but hopefully in the process of me learning it, I am able to break it down to you guys so that you can sort of grasp it and maybe connect yourself to it, because I don't know if I'm the only one who goes through this, but it's not the first time I go through it. It's just that last year I happened to realize and understand what exactly I was going through. And if you see the connection between everything I'm talking about today, my point in everything is just for us to have grace towards ourselves, because there's so many changes that we are going through. You know, our minds have to adjust to weird things. Our bodies have to adjust to food as well. You know, there's just so many things, and it's important to change, but it's also so important for us to allow ourselves to adjust and become new people, and to allow ourselves the grace period for us to become these new people. Just have our minds, our souls, our spirits, and our physique just align, you know, and be one thing and be like, okay, we are all ready and we are all working as a team and we are coming together in this one place. Because besides that, you really cannot function when your mind is elsewhere and your body is elsewhere and your soul is elsewhere. You need every bit of you for you to actually flourish in this life, for you to actually be the best version of yourself, not just to other people, but also to yourself, for you to be able to move about things feeling whole, you know. And that comes down to us not feeling whole ultimately. You feel emptied out. You feel like life is a bit chaotic because it is chaotic. Imagine your head is facing forward, your limbs are facing backwards, and parts of you are broken. You need to be fixed. You need to be corrected. I don't know how to put it. As you can tell, that there is no better word. The better words have run out, but you actually have to have every bit of you facing the same direction, positioned in the same place in order for you to do what you can do best, to be the best version of yourself. And yeah, this adjusting thing was interesting, and interesting enough that I don't know, I've been sitting in it for a while. I haven't been changing myself or working on any parts of myself except just a few areas which I have been intentionally sitting down and working with myself towards. Besides that, I have just been so peaceful about where I am, and I've just been sitting down and just basking in whatever this is. You could say that I am cooking. I am sitting in a pot right now and I am cooking, waiting to. I feel like I'm overcooking myself. I don't want to lie, but I feel like sometimes there's a right time for things, and maybe there will be a right time for me to get out of this pot. But I feel like I'm still cooking and just adjusting. And I was so scared of this age, but now it feels so beautiful. It feels like an amazing and new experience. And not because anything changed, but because I actually changed. And it's so weird, but I changed in terms of making peace with so many things right after I grieved my old self, right after I grieved my younger self. And now I am just ready to take on life in a different way. And three things that I could say that I took out of this whole process is to have grace towards myself, like I shared, to also be a lot kinder, kinder with the words that I say to myself, and to also acknowledge that a lot of change will come. And when I say kinder, going back to the kind of thing, because I was trying to sort of remember some things. When I say kinder, I mean that I have learned to forgive myself, and I am no longer seeing myself as me, but I am looking at my younger self as my younger self. It's like I am a big sister to this baby girl, and I am trying to teach her and to improve her. As much as I feel like I'm already improved. I'm still trying to improve her and heal her, because there are so many things that we go through in our young ages which require healing, and sometimes we are the only people that can sit down and comfort ourselves. Like, there are things that only we know that we went through, things that only we know that we experienced, that only we can comfort ourselves through. And that is just what I've learned, to have grace, to be kinder to myself, and to also give myself time. And with that being said, I have a new and clean slate that I am willing to share with you guys, to share publicly some errors, some mistakes through this podcast. And I hope that you guys will be able to enjoy it and just find yourselves in it and learn something from it, and just enjoy listening to my voice. I think I am a great speaker. I'm still learning to improve my speaking, like I said, trying to read more books, trying to spend time just doing things that stimulate my voice. But besides that, I know that it's going to be a great year, and I know that we're going to be learning so many things from each other. And I don't know how to wrap this up, but I hope that we talk soon. I'll see you guys, or talk to you guys rather, on Sunday. Mwah.